150 job applications, and out of that they got around 10-15 interviews. They got around 5 on-site interviews, and they got 1 job offer. That's reality. Start early. One major point, the bottom line that I want to stress is use the info sessions that are there very wisely. Go to the info sessions. You can connect with the recruiters more during the info sessions than that you can do it during the career fair. Because career fair, they'll just take your resume and it will go into a black hole. But when you go to the info session, you have more time to explain why you are the right candidate. And I have many international students who got interview offers and job offers when they went to the info session, and the recruiter realized, oh wow, this guy is a perfect match to what I'm looking for. I think I should call him for an interview. So use the info sessions.
And to add to that, just be aggressive in your search. Try to connect with employers. Because I'm sure you guys have seen friends who somehow got job interviews on campus before the career fair. And you wonder, how did these guys get a call from this company before their company even came here to the career fair? And they interviewed the next day, or even they might even interview before the career fair. And it's because they built those connections beforehand. They jumped the line and connected with them and built a relationship, and from that they got these opportunities. So I encourage you to keep trying to do that. And, staying positive, like the same, There were times, especially during my undergrad, when I felt pretty down and low. And, employers can see that, and they can perceive it in different ways. So you need to remain positive and remain aware of, like I was saying before, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What is it you want to achieve in your career? What is it you're aiming for? And, prepare all that and voice it out through your resume, because the resume is the opening door into that opportunity. Because from the resume you can get an interview, from the interview you can get an on-site interview, and then from there you can get a job. And so, when you apply to all these jobs, make sure you really understand who you are and what you want, because that is what you'll be communicating to all these positions, to all these companies, to all these employers. And the other thing is, quality over quantity. Just applying online for jobs is not enough. It needs to have quality to it. Sometimes you go to a company site and their application process is like 25 pages long. You wonder, why do they want all this information? And sometimes it's just to weed out people, to get rid of some people who are not fully committed to the position. And that's to your advantage. You should be able to go through all that, complete everything, and then try and find a connection to whom you can connect directly and say, I applied online, I really like the company, and try to continue to build those connections. Another, as always, thank you letters after you meet people at a career fair. Thank you emails. Thank you emails again after an interview. Very important. And just maintaining those connections. And that's one.
So I like the story, so I would like to share the story my roommate just told me. He come back from his Samsung interview. He was leaving his friends. His friend is a citizen, and he graduated from Harvard. And before now he working in a trading company in Chicago. However, before he got his offer, he applied for 100 companies. He only got 5 interviews. Eventually, he got 1 offer. Think about a guy who is from Harvard and had 5 internships before. He still had time before he got the final offer. So I think for international students, it's the same thing. And also I was talking with Kathleen when Kathleen got her job. It's also a hard time before she eventually got her job. So everyone got the same situation. And also, since everyone talking about depressed, I would say when you feel depressed, when even you feel desperate, what are you going to do? I think so you can talk with your friend who has the same situation, or your friend had already got a job. Because they have the same experience with you, so they can help you and explain and try to comfort you. And then as long as you went through that process, you can continue to work hard, and eventually, hopefully everyone get a job.
I really like Francisco's point, know yourself. And then besides not being stressed out, you should be yourself and get a life. Okay. I know a lot of engineering students, like my cousin. Okay, you know yourself. Like I know for a lot of major engineering, like CSE or ECE, like I have a lot of friends. I know how many hours you need to study for your class every week, but your strength is your technical skill, and then of course you get excited while you're working on it, but you should have other hobbies as well. And try to put your hobby in your resume, maybe under the honors and activities section. Because for me, I did that, and then pretty much right after I did that, all the recruiter or HRs I met, the first question they asked was about my hobby, because it's different from any other candidate they've seen. It's not the same as hobby. No, I just said like I'm a amateur pianist. That like I play piano. That's very unique for an engineering student, I guess, or for a lot of students. Like just plus like be yourself. If you're not good at like public speaking, if you're a CSC major, I don't think you necessarily has to be very good at it. Like a lot of friends I know work for Google, IBM, they are not as good as a panelist here at all, but they do whatever they are good at, and then they do it extremely well. Back to Michelle's point, like you can still stand out if you do one thing really well. Yeah, and then I think anyone wants to add on that?
So I'm going to go ahead and sort of put it all together. So what you're saying is this: be proactive and be strategic. Evaluate and build on your core strengths, network and target jobs that you like to do, want to do, and get better at doing them. That would summarize much of what you're saying.
And just to add to that, you know, when you put your hobbies on your resume and different activities that you do, you can still word them in a way that is applicable to the job position you're applying. I know some of you guys know me because I help out at IFI. I'm the student president, so I put that on my resume. And the funny thing is, I'm 100% sure that's why I got my internship. Because when I went to the interview, the on-site interview, I was being interviewed by the vice president of the organization, and he said, "You have international friendships on you. What's that about?" So I explained what I was doing, and he said, "I'm actually one of the donors, and I donate money to this organization." And basically, half of my interview was just talking about that. It wasn't even talking about the job description anymore. And at the end of the interview, he said, "When can you start working?" I said, and the funny thing was, he had other people that he had to interview, but he said, "No, I want you. When can you start working?" And I got the job. And that's the interesting thing. You never know how you connect with other people. Sometimes they like football. You know, it's Ohio State, obviously. You know, sometimes you like watching football. You like looking at the way the players move around, and the coach builds all the equations to try and figure out how to make the best plays. And so you never know how it might connect. The other one is for my full-time position that I got now. Dematic is a control logistics company. And so they asked me about the same thing. They just wanted to know what I was doing as president. So I'm sure you guys have been helped through the furniture sale that IFI does at the beginning of the year. You get furniture, right? I got furniture too. This year I helped Todd by manning all the phone calls that were coming in. As you know, the way the operation works is students go out, they get ID tags, and they tag everything that they buy. Because obviously they can't take it back with them, especially if it's like a big sofa or a dining table. So they tag it so that people can then go with U-Haul vehicles, pick it up, they bring it to a central location where it's all organized for distribution. Exactly applicable to my job position at Dematic. And so the guys picked up on that and they said, "Oh, you have really good logistics experience." It has nothing to do with engineering, but it was directly applicable to the job position they were looking for. And I really think that helped me get the job position. So, you know, even as you do your hobbies, it might be something way out there. You try to find a way to relate it to that position. And especially when you're connecting with people, you know, on a casual setting and an info session, sometimes they just don't want to talk about engineering, you know? I mean, sure, you love your controls, you love mechanical, but sometimes you just want to talk about the weather, you just want to talk about how would you drive here, you know? Just knowing the geography of Ohio, you never know, might help. So build yourself up in all these different areas so you make yourself more diverse and much easier to be able to connect with your employers.